Hello and welcome back to another lecture. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about optional classes in Java. So let us start this lecture. So in this optional classes, we will handle the null pointer exceptions in Java. So exception handling, it's important to handle the null pointer exception, which is the most common type of exception in which your object is referring to a null object, which means it is not referred to anything. So that will be the problem with null pointer exception. So it will, if you are calling any methods of a particular object and that object is null, then at that time there will be a null pointer exception. And optional classes are provided in along with Java 8, in which we can have a container to hold the both values, either null value or the value which will hold the particular value. Both can be holded in the optional container. So it is a class, basically it is a final class, so it will not, we cannot extend the class. And let us see some of the ways we can create the objects using optional class. So optional objects we can create using three methods. The first method is using the empty object. So optional dot empty, if you write, then you will get an empty optional object. And next method is optional dot off method. So the off method will give use, can be used to initialize a particular optional container. And the final one is the optional not nullable, off nullable. So this, if you can, if the value can be null in this case, so we can initialize it with null or directly. So that case also it will work. And that is the three ways of having the optional objects in our program. Now let us see some of the methods which are present in the optional class. So the first method we'll discuss is get method. So if you have a value in a particular optional object, then using get method you will be able to get the particular value. So here you can see the return type is t, which means it's a generic method. So the generic method will return you the particular generic value, which will be like, it can be a string or anything, even object, anything it can be. It can be a any class, it can any type it can take, and it will return you the particular type when you use the get method. So the next method is present. Is present is a boolean method. It will return you a boolean value whether the value is present in the container or it is a null, it is not present in the container. So let us see the program in which we will be discussing more about these methods. And next is method is present. And if present will be evaluating a particular consumer. We will discuss about this when we go to the functional programming aspects. So let us, once you done with functional programming in Java, then you will be able to understand the next set of methods like map, filter, stream. All these methods are used to implement the functional programming aspects in Java. So once you done in this program, in this lecture, we are only focusing on the simple handling, how we can write programs based on how to handle null pointer exception and all. And but after learning this lesson, after learning the functional programming lesson also, you can work with optional classes with these kind of APIs, map, filter, and other APIs. You can work. You will be able to understand the functionality. So let us start the practical example for this lecture. Now let us see a program based on optional classes in Java. So optional classes are used to handle null pointer exceptions. So let us see the program. So here I am trying to create an optional container of string objects. So let us start. So here I am first time using the optional dot is empty method to create the empty optional object, and I'm checking whether the particular value is present and these empty values are checking. So we will check whether these values are getting printed correctly or not. And after that I'm initializing the optional class, optional creating the optional object using the off method, and I'm trying to get the particular value. Here in the above you can see I have commented out this line because if you try to get the particular element which is not present in an empty object, it will throw a no such element exception. It will throw the particular exception. And finally, if in the program, I am using a nullable of nullable method to of the static method of the optional class to initialize a particular value. In the I am passing the null value. So for optional of nullable also we can pass the nullable value and a null value, and after that I am using the or else method. So or else method, what it will do is, if value is not present, then whatever you are supplied in the parameter will be returned back. So if there is any condition you want to execute, and if the value is not present, then you can supply a particular value in the method and it will be returned back to you. So let us see the output of this program. So here you can see one by one the is present and the is empty is values are getting printed, and get value of the first, second one is printed, and finally or else method is working fine. It is printing me the particular value. Since there is in the value is null, it will return me the particular message whatever I'm printing. So that is about the optional class one program. Now let us discuss about another program in optional classes. Now let us see a program based on optional classes in which I will discover more methods based in optional classes. So let us start. So in this program we are going to discover about the two methods, if present and or else get method in optional class. So I declared an optional class here, and a particular value provided of string, and after that I am declaring the if present. I'm using the if present method. If present method will take a parameter, if we take a value of consumer class, so we have to create an object of the consumer anonymous in anonymous class consumer we have to create. And for that particular anonymous in the class, there is a particular method called as accept method. As in the accept method, to print use the particular handling of the particular length, whatever the length of the particular string is there, that I will be printing. So before that we are seeing how we handle null pointer expression. In before cases we will use check whether s equal to null, then we have to check whether s dot length is there, like that we have to check previously. So if you use the if present method, then we can directly write this logic. So we will explain about the short, much more shorter way of doing it in the next example. Now let us see the next example. So here I am using the or else get method. Or else get or else get what it will do, it will do is but it will take the if the value is not present, if value is null in the optional container, at that time the or else get method will execute a particular function for you, so that you will be able to execute a particular function if the condition fails or the value is null. And let us see how the or else syntax is. Here you can see the or else syntax. So here you can see what this braces, and this parenthesis followed by the particular value is used called as a lambda expression in Java. So lambda expressions is used to use as a functional constructor. So in functional programming, it is used to mention about the particular implement the particular interfaces, abstract classes interfaces with abstract classes. So they are called functional interfaces. So lambda expressions are used to implement the functional interfaces. Here there is a functional interface, that's why I'm using the lambda. So the syntax for lambda is like this: braces for parenthesis followed by an arrow notation, and then you have to write the body of the lambda expression. So we will explain about lambda expressions in the lambda expressions lesson. For now it is a way to or else get should work like this: if a value is not present, then this particular message should come. And let us see the output of this program. So here we before output I already mentioned, you can see the above anonymous inner class. So this notation can be simplified by using the simple lambda expression. So we can use the lambda expression in the above code also. So that's it for this program. Now let us see the output of this program. So here you can see the both the values are getting printed. That is the output of this program. And in this lecture we are seeing about optional classes in Java. They can be used in many cases. They can be used in your our Pojo classes, where we write them in the get method. So whenever getting is there we can return a optional object. and so that the person who handles the API will be able to understand that this value can be either null or not null. So they will be handling them correctly. So you can use the get method to return the particular value from the optional container, and you have to use other methods if present, or else get, or else or all other methods you can use. And there are further more methods there are there in the optional classes, such as map, filter, stream. All the methods are available in optional classes. You can discover then that once you learned about functional programming aspects, you will be able to understand these methods. For now, let us finish this lecture. Thank you for watching this lecture. I will be back with another lecture in the next section. Thank you.